All right, here we go. We're getting ourselves live. And hopefully there's some of you out there that will join us for the live session. Be sure to leave your comments below as we go through this. And, you can always catch us on the podcast as well, on Apple and all that kind of good stuff. Leave us some reviews there. We'd love to hear those. And we're going to talk about something kind of fun today. We're going to talk about creative ways to get clients. And Steve and I off the air were talking about that specifically just a moment ago. And we're going to share some battle stories and talk about some ways that we do that. And it should be a lot of fun. So, Steve, what about you? Are you ready here? I'm sucking up all the oxygen.
No, you're not. Yeah, I'm ready. If you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay.
I am ready. All right, here we go.
Okay.
In 5, 4, 3. On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about creative ways to get new clients. It's going to be a lot of fun. And because of that, today's episode is made possible by a favorite toy of mine and Steve's, Lead Kahuna. And I shouldn't call it a toy, just for fun, but no, it is a lead getting tool that's going to help you to get all the leads that you need. All you do is put in a location and an industry type, and boom, you're going to get all sorts of information. And I'm not just talking about, the name of the company and the website, or maybe an email. We're talking about the name of the company, the website, the location, the phone number. We're talking about getting all of their SEO information, getting their website information. Are they WordPress? Are they HTML? Do they use Wix? You'll know all of that. How fast or slow is their website? Is it mobile optimized? You're going to learn all about their reputation. Do they have good reviews? Do they have bad reviews? Do they have a 5-star reputation or a 2-star reputation? Do they have any social media? Do they have social media cover graphics? Do they have Groupon? Do they have Facebook pixels? Do they have Google pixels? Are they running ads? You're going to know all of this. And I'm not joking. Steve's laughing, but you're really going to get all of this information. You're going to learn all about their YouTube channel. You're going to learn all about their Facebook page, all about their Instagram, all about their Twitter. And it's all going to be in one nice presentation with all those businesses and all that information. Oh, and by the way, once you gather that information, you can automatically email all the businesses and use that information to customize the emails automatically with tokens. And you can even send voice messages. You can send out mailers in the mail. You can do all of this with Lead Kahuna. You got to check it out. If you are serious about getting local businesses, check out Lead Kahuna. Head on over to raythevideoguy.com/leads. And once you're there, you can watch the webinar that's going to teach you all about it so you can make an informed decision. Take the time this weekend. Do it. Watch the webinar. raythevideoguy.com/leads. If you need leads, you need Lead Kahuna. And with that, let's hit our music here. Ready, Steve? Here we go.
Yes, I am ready.
He's Ray the Video Guy. Yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy. Yeah, Ray the Video Guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, who just had a nice beverage, non-alcoholic. And I'm Steve Sleeper. GoVMM.com is our landing page where you'll find all the podcatchers you can subscribe to and all that kind of stuff.
And boy, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
We love them all.
Yeah, Lead Kahuna, the other thing I like about it is David Sprague does a webinar every Friday afternoon
Yes, he does.
on
Right after
question
this
and
show,
answer.
as a matter of fact.
Right after the show. And it's a Q&A every Friday afternoon where you can get your questions answered. So that's pretty cool, too.
Yeah, I was just talking to the man, the myth, the legend this morning, and we were discussing a few different things about marketing and how to get clients and whatnot. So if you part of Lead Kahuna, you are not getting just a software that helps you find leads. You are getting training systems. You are getting all sorts of things to learn exactly what you can do with local businesses, which is what we're going to talk about today because, well, we've been having a lot of fun with local marketing lately here. And, we've seen a lot of results. And I wanted to share some of that talk about some of the things we're doing, talk about some of the things Steve's doing, talk about some other ideas that we'd like to do that maybe we're not doing right now. And, if you guys want to get involved and you're watching live, feel free to pop some of your ideas into the Facebook page. If you're watching this in the future, feel free to do that as well. If you're on YouTube and watching it, post down below and tell us what you're doing to get clients, because there's always a lot of creative ideas out there, from knocking on doors with flyers to, flying a plane overhead with a banner on the back. Who knows? Lots of crazy things you can do. Guerrilla marketing, they used to call it. Guerrilla marketing.
I'm going to see if this works. I used to be in the Morning Rotary here in Omaha. I was in it for a year, and then I didn't continue for a variety of reasons. But it wasn't because it wasn't a good chapter. It was me, not them. But the gal that coordinates all the Rotaries, to put on their meetings, make sure everything is, in place and all that. They all farm it out to this one lady here in Omaha. I'm going to get in touch with her and say, look, I would do a free talk on how to optimize your GMB and why that's important, and then talk a little bit about reputation management and GMB ranking and that type of thing. But I'd give them all the, what to do with your GMB stuff for free. And that's like 5 Rotary clubs in Omaha. So if they bite on that, and they're begging for speakers because it's every week. So, but that's a good thing to do. I know Tamara.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a Tamara Pratzer here in town, and I always want to call her Tamara, but she really built up a pretty good business by going around and speaking at events, Rotary, Lions,
yep.
Social media, meetups, that whole thing. So,
yeah, it's a very effective way to do it. If you can belong to some of those clubs, BNI, your local chamber, all of those things will have groups. In fact, one method that you can use is to grab your phone, and if you don't have it yet, get the Meetup app. And if you go inside there and you get the Meetup app, you'll be able to go in, you'll be able to look, and you'll see the business meetings that are going on. Socials, lunches, breakfasts. I mean, there's all sorts of things going on all the time, and you'll find them inside of there. You might find industry-specific ones, one specific for electricians or plumbers or who knows. But there's a lot of things that are going on in your area, outside your area, and it's not just for gathering business. You want to learn from people. There's also ones for SEOs. So there's a meetup where all the SEOs get together and they discuss ideas. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that can really help to spread your name, learn from it, grow, meet people. It's a great opportunity. And again, there's lots of different groups: BNI, Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, things like that. And I know those tend to be a little more social than business, but you're going to be meeting people that have businesses. It's a great way to do that.
The Rotary, for instance, is a service organization. So they pick a charitable entity, and that's whom they serve. But there's no better way to get to know people than by working together with them. So you're not just going to a breakfast with them, but you're working with them, like in the afternoon sometime, sweeping floors. I don't know. I just made that up. And that's the reason I didn't stay with it, because I could never help them do anything, and I felt guilty about it. But you really have to be willing to do that. There's another one called Center Sphere. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I am a little bit. I've never attended it, and I don't know a ton about it, but I have heard about it.
They're supposedly pretty good. I had a SEO guy here in town tell me that he really liked them. Unlike BNI, which tells you to you got to bring 5 leads a week and stuff like that, BNI is good because they're so structured. Centosphere isn't quite as structured as BNI. It's
BNI is
little
very,
easier,
very structured.
Very, very structured. And if you're out there meeting people all the time, BNI is great. But if you got to be a certain kind of person to do BNI, and Centosphere, if you're not that certain kind of person, that certainly is an option.
Absolutely. So, just getting out there and meeting people always a big help for any of the stuff that you're trying to do. You got to get out there. You got to meet people. You got to talk to people, and really, just get yourself out there. Get your information out there. Hand out cards. And I know it's not the big thing these days to have cards anymore, but you got to have them. You got to be prepared. And we're working on that right now.
Well,
so, absolutely.
What's happening to our Facebook Live? We're all digitized. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can't see it because I'm not looking at it, but I'm looking at our screen, my little screen here, and it's telling me that there's internet issues of some kind. We're not performing well. We're not performing well, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we'll continue
you
on.
were digitizing there a little bit. So
Hey, you know what? That happens. I'm a digital man. It's 2020. I'm a digital man. So, all right. So let's talk a few strategies here and see if we can come up with something that people can jump out there and start using. Now, one thing that I've been doing a lot lately is using Lead Kahuna, which we just talked about, and that's a major tool that can help you to
Ray,
get.
you're really digitizing bad. This isn't going to work.
Yeah. So are you.
I mean,
actually.
you're.
Yeah, and I just lost you. Yep, our internet is pooched. We're having serious performance issues, so I don't know if we're going to be able to continue this right now. All right, I'm going to put on the old glasses to read what it says here. Dropping frames, low internet bandwidth. Please reduce your frame rate or frame size. So I think we're having internet issues somewhere along the lines here. I don't know if it's on my end or let me try something here.
Oh, I'm back.
All right. You know what I just did is, and hopefully we're still connected here. I actually just switched. Apparently, it was my internet that was having a major issue there.
Oh, okay.
So and this is not part of the show, so we can cut this out later. So guys that are still watching us live, feel free to stay in here. What we'll do is we'll backtrack a little bit and continue from where we left off there for a second. But no, what basically happened there is, for some reason, the internet that I get from Comcast, they give you two different settings. One is a slower one, and one is a faster one. And for some reason, that faster one, if it goes down a little bit, the computers will switch to the slower one, but they don't switch back. And so we were on the slower internet connection. And as soon as I switched that back, it seems like all of a sudden our issues have gone away. I think.
Okay, cool.
I think they have anyway. We'll find out in a second. It looks like we are streaming out okay again.
My head is huge, but who cares?
Your head is huge. That's what happens sometimes. But all right, so Steve, I think we left off. We were just going to get into.
You're going to get in. Yeah, you talked about meetups and speaking at, and I talked about speaking at events, and you were kind of just going to get started on the meat of the whole show, I think.
Okay. All right, so we'll start from there. So I'll say something like, here we go. Yeah, so meeting up with people. Oh, let's get rid of these ugly glasses first of all.
It makes you look really smart.
Oh gosh, I hate those things. I need to wear them more often. But all right, here we go, guys. Everybody watching is probably thinking we are nuts, but we're going to get back into it. Still look choppy to you, though?
No.
Okay, good. All right, here we go. So if you can get out there, you can meet some people, you can hand out cards, you're going to be able to pick up some business pretty easily. In fact, Steve alluded to it. Some of those groups, they actually require you to bring leads, and that means everybody else has got to bring leads too. So you've got some great opportunities to help people out. So be sure to check out those groups. Now, outside of meeting people in person out at groups, we got to talk a little bit about what you can do from inside your office. And that's going to go right back to Lead Kahuna, which, of course, we mentioned at the top of the show as making this show possible. So what Lead Kahuna does is it allows you to put in plumbers Boston, and it's going to pull in all the information about all the plumbers. So you might end up with 300 plumbers. And the idea is you're going to gather all sorts of information that you can use later. That includes their name, address, phone number, website, you name it on their contact information, you're going to get it inside there. Number of employees in the business, who the owner is, all of that will be in there. You get all sorts of reputation information about their website, the kind of website, is it mobile, etc., like I talked about at the top of the show, plus all of their social media and whatnot. And what you can do with that is you can then turn around and use the software to mail out to those. So if you got 300 plumbers, you can then mail out to those 300 plumbers. And when you do, the software will allow you to customize that specific to each person. So when somebody receives, when John's Plumbing receives an email, it's going to reference his information in that email. So it looks like you wrote that specifically for him. And when Mike gets one at Mike's Plumbing, it's going to look like you wrote it specifically for him. And that's going to allow you to really get in front of these guys with a customized message, and that's going to get people to contact you back. And if you don't think that that can happen, well, I can tell you that we've gotten a ton of contacts back lately. Just to give a little backstory on my stuff, in the past, I worked with a lot of local businesses when I lived out west, and I was fortunate. I had guys who worked with me that did all the sales part. I just had to do a lot of the fulfillment and, maybe close people once in a while and explain things to people. But, we had guys that's what they did. They went out, they made the presentations, they made the sales, and then we just did the work in the back end. And that was great. But now that I've moved out here, I was certainly doing a lot more of my trainings. I was doing a lot more of my product sales and things like that. And while I still had local customers, I didn't have a ton of them, and I wasn't really looking for a ton of them at first. But now I've really decided, okay, we've got to take this to a new level. I really want to help local businesses. And so we've put a major, major effort into that in the last about 2 months. In fact, not even. It's been about a month and a half that we've really started to put major efforts into this, enough so that I've actually started a new business entity. I've brought on a partner who handles sales. We got a couple of salespeople. And, I don't want to make it sound like it's a big business. It's really not. I mean, the salespeople are my son and my brother-in-law, that kind of a thing. But what's happened is we've started to get a lot of business very, very quickly. In fact, just earlier today, I closed on a dentist, and my partner Adam, he's got a meeting this afternoon with a roofer, and earlier today he was talking with a salon. And so we're picking up these businesses now. We're starting to get a lot of traction, and we're going to be closing a lot of these businesses, and hopefully closing a lot of these businesses. I can't imagine we wouldn't. But it all starts with that initial contact, and when we use Lead Kahuna to do that, it works very, very well. Just today alone, in fact, the roofer that my partner's meeting with, in fact, it's probably happening right now, was one that we mailed this morning with Lead Kahuna. So literally 10 minutes after we mailed, this roofer contacted and wanted to learn more and get started. So,
what were you pushing? Were you pushing reputation marketing?
No, actually, social media this time. It was social media, and just to just to clarify what we're offering, a lot of the stuff that we're offering are products that go hand in hand with Lead Kahuna. So the people that make Lead Kahuna, they've got a variety of products that you can sell that deal with video, social media. So they've got a whole social media platform that allows you to set up the client's social media for months and months, and not only distribute out content, but distribute out very specific content in a specific recipe that allows you to have so much stuff that's comedy, so much stuff that's what's the word I'm looking for? Like uplifting stuff, and so much stuff that's marketing content, and it follows this one recipe that really helps to build that audience. But on top of that, it has built-in abilities to put your marketing materials on top of the content that you're sharing. So if you're sharing a YouTube video or you're sharing an article from Time Magazine, when they're looking at that, there's a banner on that content that has your free offer or your offer for this or that they can click on, and boom, every piece that you share is not just shared content, it's a marketing piece now. And it really makes a big difference.
And if you want to see what it looks like, just go to the Video Marketing Madness Facebook or Twitter page.
That's right. Go to go to Video Marketing Madness's Facebook or Twitter, and you'll see those. You'll see articles and memes and whatever posted, and it'll have a little banner that says, I think right now what we're doing, the give away the video, I think, a free video is what we're promoting on there
Although
right now.
it says free reputation report, and then it's a video.
Oh, does it?
I think.
Oh, that means I
you might
screwed up
want
and
to
I
check
gotta go
that.
fix
Yeah,
so.
you might want to check. I meant to tell you that, and I forgot.
Thanks.
One of the many things I meant to tell you.
Yes. So even if you screw up, people will be able to click on these buttons and get something from you. And you could be selling something or you could be giving something for free. All of that is built into that. But they also have the reputation videos where you can actually take a 5-star reputation, something that a 5-star review and turn it into a video. So we sell a lot of that. That's what we've been leading out with and getting a lot of people back for that. I talked a couple weeks ago in some of my other groups about how we've gotten over 50 businesses in the last couple of weeks that have contacted us and said, hey, I want that. And now we're following up with them and trying to close them. Like I said, we closed one this morning. We'll probably close another one this afternoon. But we're going to be getting, hopefully our goal is to be getting, 20 new clients every single month. And what's great about this is those clients are somewhat set it and forget it. So we're literally setting up their videos and it runs by itself. We're setting up their social media and it runs by itself. All we have to do is just pay attention to make sure it keeps working. And that's pretty much it. It's a very, very good set of programs that allow you to do that. And it gets your foot in the door for the other stuff, because obviously at some point in time, we want to be doing videos and charging them, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to do nicer videos and to set up video campaigns and do video advertising and whatnot. And this is what allows us to get started doing that, is getting our foot in the door with these nice, easy to use services like the rep videos, and then to do reputation marketing, and eventually into SEO and video and whatnot. So.
Hey, let me ask you this. Are you focusing on the local market? And if so, what are you defining as a local market? Because you're in suburban Atlanta. So,
well, and I'm not even suburban Atlanta. I'm way outside of Atlanta, but
are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Snellville.
like 40 minutes outside of Atlanta, which I guess
Dr.
is
Seuss
kind
was
of in there.
born in Snellville.
Yeah, absolutely. But
So you're
Springfield, actually,
So you're focusing on Snellville and areas around there.
That's where I've started, but I'm doing it in a lot of different places.
Okay.
But that's where I wanted to start the focus on, was here locally, and that's where we picked up some of the clients we have. Some of the dentists. We've got a lot of dentist offices in the area. We've got roofers. We've got some real estate. So there's a lot of carpet cleaning. So and this is all stuff that we've picked up in the last couple of weeks. And the great thing about it is, especially with like the video stuff, we're setting it up. I've got one dentist that has 4 offices, and he's doing one video every single week for each office. So he's got 4 videos every week going out, and we set it up for an entire year. So I don't have to do anything other than make sure it keeps running. That just runs by itself. And the great thing about that is that means you can scale it up. And when you've got these products, you can do that. But it all starts with, being able to contact these guys. Using something like Rep Kahuna. Now, that's not the only way to get people. Obviously, there's a ton of different ways to do that. And another one I want to talk about that actually has been very popular lately. A lot of people have been using this more and more, and it's something that we're trying to start getting into doing is using LinkedIn. And if you haven't used LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a very, very good program that allows you to connect with all of these different business owners, and then you can start to message them. Now, you don't want to go in there and spam it like crazy, but if you think about this, for instance, when we do our rep videos, the way that works, and by the way, if you want to check this out, contact me. I'll help set you up with rep videos. It's a program you really... just an amazing program that can help you to start to make a lot of sales. You can bring in a lot of new clients by using this. And there's a formula in there for that. And it starts off with providing them with a video. And so you approach these people, it's like, hey, we're doing, I'm going to do a video for free for you. And, obviously video has a lot of value. So people contact you back at high frequencies going, whoa, you'll do a free video for me? Okay, great. And that's when we get them into the program to start doing that. And then, we charge for other things in that and build up. And it works very, very well. We've got, like I said, we've got a bunch of new clients that are paying monthly now for the rep videos. Some are doing social media, but the rep videos are a big part of that. But it all comes with having a great offer, even a free offer. Another thing that we have, by the way, if anybody's interested, is we've got free business cards, digital business cards that we can do. And what we provide is a free digital business card that has your face, and it's got contact information, and it's got your website and your email. And so you create this nice, beautiful digital card that pops up on your phone or on the web, and you just give those away. And by giving those away, what ends up happening is people, those businesses, so for instance, you talk to a restaurant and you're like, hey, free digital business card. Okay, great. They go and they do it. Well, once they do it, if they want to start providing those for the rest of their employees, well, now they can upgrade that, and you get paid for them upgrading from the one business card into the full program on the digital business cards. And so you've got opportunities to get these upgraders and start making money that way. Once you do that, you're in the door, you've got their contact information, then you can hit them with your videos, you can hit them with your SEO, you can hit them with your websites, whatever it is that they need. You can set all of that up and start making sales immediately. And it all starts with just giving something away. And again, if you want to be somebody that gives these away, let me know. Contact us. We'll be glad to hook you up with that as well, as it's a great program that works very, very easily. But again, you got to get out there and figure out ways. So go to LinkedIn, tell people about your videos, tell them about your social media packages, just get them on board. Sign up for the digital business cards. Give away the digital business cards on LinkedIn. Get them to sign up and then upgrade, and you'll be able to start getting in with them having them as a customer and being able to sell more items to them. And it can be very, very effective. Another way is, of course, Facebook. Facebook's a great way to do that. So imagine, every time that you do something for a client, if you post that, you're going to be able to help your client, and you're going to be able to advertise that you do this stuff. So for instance, if I do a reputation video for a client showing off their 5-star reviews, well, by me posting it, other people are going to see that in the area, and maybe they'll call my client. But at the same time, they'll see that video and want to know, hey, how can I get a video like that for my business? And now you'll be able to bring more business. So just by posting the stuff that you have into social media, you're going to be able to get attention on that and hopefully get clients out of that. The other thing is with Facebook Messenger, you can reach out to businesses, go to business pages and offer them something just like you would on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to get some people to pay attention there. A very good friend of mine, Kenny Cannon, he actually teaches an entire method of using Facebook Messenger to get clients. And the reason he did that was because he teaches a lot of sales trainings, and what he discovered is nobody wants to do the cold calling. And he still says cold calling is going to be your best way to do any of the sales. But most people don't want to do that. And so he teaches you how to use Facebook Messenger. So that can be a very powerful tool to do just that. So be sure to try that out, Facebook Messenger, to get some of the business. Now, the other thing you can do, and this is something that last week when Adam was here, we kind of did this. We went over to a business, we knocked on the door. I know that seems crazy in 2020 to knock on somebody's door and offer them something, but that's exactly what we did. Now, in this particular case, I just happened to be down in the lobby of my office building, and there was a lady in there, and I thought she was the mail deliverer because I was looking for the mail carrier, and I thought that was her, and I went and chased after her, and she was another business in the complex. And I was talking to her, and I said, well, we do marketing. And she mentioned that, she's in on Fridays, and on Fridays she can talk to people about those kinds of things because they don't have their normal clients. So we went and we knocked on the door. Literally, we went in, we presented, and we're supposed to be meeting with her sometime today. I think after this, we should be meeting with her, hopefully, to get her to sign up. She wanted to do social media and some rep videos, as well as a new website. So there's a lot of things we're going to be doing for her, hopefully, and it all started with just talking to her by knocking on the door. So knocking on the door is a big way. Picking up the phone, you got to pick up the phone And I know people don't like to do that, but even if you don't have any tools right now, because some of these tools can be expensive. You got to pay money to have some of these tools that will give you the leads. But if you go to Google right now, search for something, plumbers in your city, pull up all those leads there. They all have phone numbers. Get on the phone. Pick up the phone, call them, talk to them. Are you going to get hung up on half the time? Heck yeah, you are. You're going to get answering machines another half of the time? Heck yeah. But you know what? That one or two people that answer that phone, you can present something to them that they're going to want to purchase. But you got to make a lot of phone calls, and you got to be willing to get hung up on in order for that to happen. Steve, you know all about that, don't you?
Oh, man, that's how I built my book of banking business, and I was at $3 million a year doing that. And what I would do is start with the CFO and just ask if we could do some analysis and come back and show them what the program might be worth, some free analysis and how much income he could get off of it. And, I'd work through the gatekeeper because even when I was doing this 20 years ago, your best chances of getting through to anybody was the gatekeeper. And C-level at banks, they've always got a secretary. And then, I'd get them to fill out a sheet, because I needed some information from them. We'd come back to him, and I'd just stay in touch with him. And eventually he would connect me with the marketing director, say, take a look at this. They'd invite us in to do a presentation, and then they'd decide. I built a $3 million a year book of business doing that. That was all wiped out by the market crash in 2007. But it works. Now, the thing, you got to make more phone calls, more cold phone calls than you would have had to 25, 30 years ago. If you could get by with 20 cold calls a day, and now you probably got to do 50 because.
Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah, it's just there's so much more voicemail, so many more people doing it. It's just tougher to get through.
Yep. And I was going to say, you might be doing 50, but you got to understand most of the time you're not even going to get a human. So right. Even though you're calling more, you're not going to get rejected more. You're just going to get more voicemails. So it's
and if you can get a gatekeeper, and sometimes with small retail businesses that's not possible. I understand that, but if you can get a gatekeeper, you can at least email them some information and see if they'll hand it to Mr. Got Rocks, or so. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to send regular mail. If you've got a client that you look at and you think, okay, this is a big fish I want to get, you can get very creative. You can send things to their office. And one thing that I was taught one time that I thought was really interesting was sending a package that is registered, where it's registered for that particular person. When that package comes in, they have to sign for it in order to get it. And what they were putting in there was, and this is very clever, and you're going to love this, and they did this with trade shows as well, but they did this with mailings, is inside there was a gift, half a gift. They had to meet with them to get the other half of the gift.
Oh.
So what he would send to these CEOs or business owners would be like a gift for their wife. So it's like, hey, here's a gift we're sending you to give to your wife, whatever, and he would send like a box with one earring in it. And it would be a nice one. This isn't a cheap one. This is a nice gift.
This isn't a Cracker Jack earring. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it's only got one of the earrings in there because you have to meet with the guy to get the other one so you can give it to your wife.
Nice.
And it's, and it seemed to work very, very well. They also did that with trade shows. So what they would do is if they were going to be at a trade show and they knew that business X was going to be at a trade show, they would send the earring to the owner and say, you got to visit our booth 285 to get the other one. And so that would require them to come down to your booth in order to get the other earring that they could then give to their wife or whatever. They've done some other clever things. Sent them the fart machine was one of the things that they tried. If you know what that is, it's the remote controlled noisemaker. Yes. And so they would send that out, and of course, it just makes everybody laugh that this salesperson sent them this noisemaker, and then he can go in, and they're going to remember who you are. You know, they're not going to remember because you sent them a pen, but when you send them this, they're going to remember that, and you know, you'll get in the door a lot easier. So that's just like a fun creative thing that you can do. You're going to do that with everybody? No, that's a more of a rare thing for a bigger fish that you're trying to get in with. But
you know what I used to
be
do?
Effective.
I would always send it out priority mail, so it stood out in the mail.
Yeah.
And I would attach $1 to the letter and say, here's what I want. Here's what I'd like you to do. And it got their attention, believe me. And just that dollar made a big difference. And that package back then was probably worth $7.50 tops. That's kind of expensive, but compared to sending a nice earring, I mean, it's peanuts.
Yeah, the earring thing. I mean, we're talking about spending $300 for a client that's going to spend tens of thousands or whatever. So it's a bigger fish thing.
Well, yeah,
but you don't have to go that crazy.
Yeah, and our clients were all worth at least $300,000 a year, so $7.50 was no big deal.
Exactly, and so that's the big thing about that is you gotta get creative, you gotta be clever with it. You can still do things like handing out flyers. I mean, posting on community bulletin boards. Your supermarkets, go to your supermarkets. They'll put things at the registers, that people can pick up. I mean, they'll do that kind of stuff for you. Hang things in the window at the supermarket. Now, again, how many people are you going to get if you're selling SEO? Probably not a lot, but not everybody in here is an agency. If you're a small business, I mean, this is a good opportunity for you to be able to go out there and get your name out there. And just by having a flyer in the window of the supermarket can be very, very useful and helpful. So you got to take the opportunity to do those types of things. Another thing that you can be doing is making sure that, we talked about Facebook a little bit. One of the programs that we're working with right now is similar to something that you do, Steve, and that's the interview an expert sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Now, think about this. The idea behind this is you're going to be interviewing your expert, and then you're going to be trying to sell them something on the back end of it, and it's for your show, and so you get that show out there into social media. Do you know how easy it is to get people to do a show on social media? Now, you know how effective it can be from email, but if you're connected with people on LinkedIn, you're connected with people on Facebook, you're going to get people to do that pretty easily. And every time you do one, it's going to build up your brand, which is only going to help you when you go to the next person, because now you've got all these different people that you've interviewed. So be willing to do that. Go out there and interview businesses, get them to, provide content for you, and then you help them to distribute it, because that's what they're going to want to need. They're going to need to, they're going to want to take what you did with them and distribute it out so that it markets them. Now, you'll be marketing them a little bit because you're going to put it on your channel or your podcast or whatever, but they're going to want a copy of that so they can go out and do that, and you can help them with that. You can charge them a fee for that. And then, now that you've got the rapport with them, you can start to sell them all your other products. And it can be a great foot in the door that will help to build your business and your reputation at the same time. And you've done that for a while, Steve, right?
Yeah, and that works out pretty well. You get a lot of people interested. And another thing I'd like to add too is that if you buy, for instance, Lead Kahuna, Dave Sprague includes sales training in there. So if you say,
absolutely.
well, geez, I'm not a salesman. Well, you know what? I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert, and so what does that mean? Well, an extrovert gets their energy by being around people, and an introvert gets their energy by being alone. So I'm not naturally one of those kinds of people that are going to hang out at a cocktail party chatting with everybody. I can fake being an extrovert. I mean, if you meet me, I'm very friendly and everything. I'm not looking at my shoes when I'm walking around. But what I was able to do is get a lot of training, look at the things that I knew I could do, which was a lot of cold calling, getting on airplanes. I knew I could do that. I did some of the things that Ray's talked about are a little more guerrilla type things. I call them standing on a street corner with a megaphone. I did a few of those things. Extroverts are better at that. But what I did is I figured out what I wanted to do, what I could do, and would be good at, and that's what I did, and I did it with discipline. I did it every single day, day in and day out.
That's the big part.
Regardless of how I felt. One time I was in a red carpet club in San Francisco. That was United's place where you could go if you had layovers and you didn't have to sit out in the terminal. I'm in a red carpet club and I couldn't remember where I was. I had no idea what city I was in because I'd been on the road so much. So you know, and now keep in mind that was back when I was selling to banks. Average order $300,000. You could afford to get on airplanes and go places. Sometimes you can't do that.
Sure.
The takeaway from this is Dave Sprague has that training in Link Kahuna, that sales training. So if you have any concerns, take that sales training and then decide out of all these things that Ray's listed, what you can do, what you're good at. You know, BNI, I'm not a BNI guy. I'm just not a BNI guy. It just wears me out. But cold calling, that's me. You know, so it's kind of weird. You know, one time I told somebody I'm the introverted salesperson. Well, how does that work? I'm just fine. Because if you're willing to, you just got to pick out what you're going to do and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of this stuff works. But the biggest thing you got to remember, and this is something that you mentioned a minute ago, is the consistency. Mm-hmm. So you got to know what you're trying to sell. You got to be consistent with it. You got to hit people with it. And you got to follow up because they're, you know, as an example, I posted on New Year's about, you know, kind of a half joke about how, hey, you know, what are you doing on New Year's? I just signed a new carpet cleaner, you know. And that's true. We did. We actually met on New Year's Day, and mm-hmm. he signed up for one of the marketing programs. But I started talking to him in the week of Thanksgiving. So you think about that. So that was what, you know, November 20th, somewhere around there, 17th. And that's all the way through December 17th, you know, to January. So a month and a half. And I called him probably 6 or 7 times, and I've emailed him a couple times. We talked about a few things, and finally we got together, and boom, the deal was done. But you got to be consistent because, like I said, we've collected over 50 businesses who have said, yes, I want that. But the problem is they say, I'm interested in that. I want that. Well, how many of those 50 businesses do you think I've, you know, emailed back and not heard anything from yet, or called back and not heard anything yet? A lot of them. But all of a sudden, today, we got one of them that we've been talking back and forth with, and he finally paid today. So another one. And that one took a couple of weeks as well. I mean, well, more than that. It took about 6 weeks.
Well, and I've had customers I've chased for 2 years before I got the order. The thing that you need to keep in mind is when you send calls, when you make calls or you send emails and they don't get back to you, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just means they don't. It could mean they're not interested, yes, but it also can mean they're busy. They don't have anything to tell you, but you make it top of mind for them. And if they want to do business with you, they'll get back to you. The only problem I really have had that I never used to have is that if they don't want business, they just fall. If they don't want to do business with you, they fall off the face of the earth and they never get back to you. Whereas in the old days, they would say, hey, you know what? I'm really not interested. Okay, cool.
I think that's a difference in modern society. People don't like to say no. Mm-hmm. They'll just vanish. For instance, you know, but the problem is I'm consistent. So if you're ignoring me because you don't want it, well, you told me you did before. So I'm going to keep following you until you tell me no. And you know, and there's a dentist I'm working on right now, and she actually contacted me. I didn't even reach out to her. She had heard about what we were doing and contacted me and said she was interested, and I sent her some information, and then I followed up with her, and she said she was excited, she wanted to do it, and then she's completely dropped off the face of the earth. So how many times do you think I've emailed and called her since then? Well, probably 20 times. I mean, and one was this morning. I called her this morning again and left a message. But is she ignoring me? Probably, but she said she wanted it. So until she says she doesn't, I'm going to keep at it.
You're going to stay after her. Well, and the other thing it would behoove everybody to have is some kind of contact management system. Salesforce is the biggest one out there. It's online. You enter all your information and then you task when you're going to do what. And Salesforce also provides a lot of market intelligence and data and research and things. But if you don't want to spend any money on it, you know what I use? Google Contacts, Google Maps, Google Calendar. Yeah, spreadsheets.
We've got now. We've got a spreadsheet now. I actually have a very, very, very good business management system, but I'm still learning how to use it right now. Mm-hmm. And we'll be talking a lot about that in the future, because it's going to be something we push really hard, because it's amazing. It's going to allow you to put in your clients. You got a pipeline. You've got the ability to set up appointments inside of there. You can survey people. I mean, just a ton of stuff in there. And we're just in the process of learning and getting it up and running, but it's definitely going to be our or our client management system going forward. Once we just get everything squared away on how to use it properly. So very excited about that.
Very good. Very good. Well,
there you go. So there's some ideas. Now, these are not all the ideas. Certainly, we don't have them all. If we did, I'd be off on a yacht somewhere, and you wouldn't hear from me for a while. But we certainly do have a lot of ideas that are working right now, and there's many more out there that we don't know about that. I don't know about you, Steve, but I want to learn them. So if you know any that we didn't talk about, tell us. Put them in the comments down below. Let us know what you do that's unique and different that helps you to get clients. You use Twitter in some way, because I'm not a Twitter person, but maybe you use Twitter for some way to do that, or maybe you've got some other technique or some sort of videos that you do that work really well for you. And by the way, don't be afraid to do videos, training videos. One of the things that I did, it sounded like I was ending the show there, but I'm going to take one step back here. One thing that I did recently, and this actually came, broke off of some ideas that we'd done in the past and some other people had done, is I did a training webinar. I did a webinar on 5 steps to improve your Google My Business listing. And what was great about that is we got a bunch of people to sign up. Well, a bunch is literally, like a bunch of bananas. It wasn't that many, but we got people to sign up. A lot of people were skeptical. A lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't know, what is this? What are you trying to get out of me here?" But it was just a free webinar teaching how to work on your Google My Business, the ways that you can improve that. And we got a bunch of people in the local area to sign up. I only promoted it here locally. And what was great about it was multiple people on that list that signed up for it, and some that didn't sign up called me on the phone and said, "Hey," in fact, the dentist I'm talking about, that's how she found us actually, was she had seen that we were going to do the webinar on the Google My Business, and she called me on the phone and said, I want to do some marketing. Let's get together and do this. And I said, okay. And then, after a couple times back and forth with each other, she kind of disappeared now. But the point is, we got business out of that, and it was very easy to do. You just create a webinar and go out there, do a nice little webinar. Even if only one person shows up or 2 people show up, doesn't matter. You do the webinar, you pretend there's 100 people there, and then at the end, you've got a replay that you can give to them, and you can have that going forever. If you've got an auto webinar system, you can then put it into an auto webinar system and constantly run webinars. And you're going to get people in there. You're going to get their name, address, and phone number. You're going to get their email, and you'll be able to get them to sign on as business. And we made a couple of sales before the webinar even happened because people called on the phone. In fact, the carpet cleaner guy that we signed on New Year's, that's where we originally found him, was in he was one of the people that signed up for the webinar. And actually, no, I apologize. He didn't sign up for the webinar. He saw the webinar thing and he called me on the phone and wanted to know more information about marketing. And so that's how we picked him up. So it's another clever way to do it. You can do it live. Tamara Patzer, we talked about earlier, she does live ones where she brings people into her office and makes a video for everybody or trains on something and gets them to sign up. And we've done that before in the past as well, where we did trainings on Google Places back in the day and a few other things as well. So that's a good way to do it, is train people. Create webinars, create training videos, and post, by the way, get on Facebook and look for your local business groups. There's a ton of them out there. In my area, which is Snellville, Loganville, Grayson, Gwinnett County, Georgia, there's a bunch of business Facebook groups where all the business owners hang out. And you can post things in that group. You can post, services that you have available, et cetera. And you can get people that contact you out of that too. So that's how I filled up that's how I got people into the webinar, was through those groups. That was the way that they most of them found me. So be sure to use that. All right, Steve, we're way over time here, but we had with our technical difficulties in the middle there, which hopefully if you're watching it now, later in the future, you won't even know that was there. But we had our technical issues, and we got into gabbing about all this stuff. But a lot of things you can do, but you got to be persistent. You got to be willing to go out there and work. You got to be willing to take a chance. You got to be willing to accept rejection. And if you're willing to do all that, you're willing to work hard, you will get new business, but you got to put the efforts in. I spent a long time kind of, muddling around with it and getting a client here and there. But once we started to say, okay, we're doing this for, we're really going to try and get X number of clients. We're going to take it serious. We're going to work on it every day. All of a sudden, we got all these people that are coming in our doors. You got to be consistent. You got to be serious about it. And when you do, you can really make a difference. So get out there and do it. Steve, any final words?
No, other than get out there and do it. Just figure out what you like to do and do it. And again, the sales training in Link Kahuna will kind of walk you all through that stuff. You're not on your own. And then Dave has a Friday afternoon webinar where you can do Q&A. So it's good stuff. Now, if somebody wanted to get Link Kahuna at a deep discount, where do they go?
At a deep discount? Well, you can head on over to my page, raythevideoguy.com/leads, and you'll be able to watch the webinar that we did teaching all about Lead Kahuna. And like Steve said, this is an amazing software that can help you to find all the leads in different areas. I've used it today 3 times already today, I think, where I did a search, and I've already sent out 3 sets of emails through it today. And I know, my partner that does more of that on it right now, he's already done, I don't even know how many today, he's done a ton of it, because it's a very effective method. It's a software that gives you everything you need. But like Steve said, it's got a ton of training, not just about the software. So it's not just training on what button to push. It is sales training, messaging, what to say to people, when to say it to them, how to say it to them. And quite honestly, that training is probably worth just as much as the software itself. Even if you didn't have that software, that training would be worth the price alone. So you got to get in there, get that software, get that training, and I guarantee you, you will get people that contact you back. And as long as you can provide them with a product that they want, you're going to be able to make sales with it. And that's just my testimony on it. And Steve, I know you've done the same. So you've gotten, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort, but it will work. So check it out, raythevideoguy.com/leads. That will give you Lead Kahuna. And with that, it's time to get the heck out of here. So Steve, should I hit the music?
Is. Hit the music, Ray.
Here it goes. Goodbye, everybody. And where's our music? I hit the wrong button. Let's try it again. Here we go. Hit the right button this time. Ooh, here we go.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.